Welcome to the Show Me the Jobs webinar. If you want to be successful among the thousands or tens of thousands of people competing for job openings, you need a strategy. You might recognize this job search planner pulled directly from myIMPACT. This is a quick overview of the 4 main strategies. And today we're going to take a closer look at the published opening strategy. But you can't consider this strategy apart from the others. In each strategy, you need to prepare, to research, and to organize. Now, the published job market is truly a madhouse, truly the most competitive and crowded place to compete for job openings. Hundreds, if not thousands of people typically apply for each published job lead, yet only 3 or 4 might get called for an interview. You may have already experienced the frustration of applying for a job where you thought that you were a perfect fit, and then you never heard back one way or another. Or maybe you took 30, 40, 45 minutes to apply, and within 5 minutes, you're notified that you're not being considered. Frustrating. So today, we want to talk about how to find the best job leads, but let's begin by talking about all the steps that surround the actual application process. Let's take a look at this checklist. It's available in myIMPACT, and you can quickly find it by using the search icon at the top of the page. I like to follow the advice of Stephen Covey, and what he said was, begin with the end in mind. We know you might be thinking step 1 is to find the actual job posting, and this is absolutely true. But step 2 won't be to send in the application immediately. We encourage you to review these strategies and follow these steps first. So once you find that opportunity, you want to research the company. Why is that important? Because you need some insider information before you submit the actual application. You're often asked on that application, who do you know at this company? And you'll want to be able to have a name to put in that slot. So where is the best place to find people from that company? LinkedIn, of course. Start by finding the company page and then follow the company and then do the research. Go through the employees that are currently employed there. We're going to say even look at the people who used to be employed there. And find contacts, find decision makers, and then reach out to them directly. Now, the idea for doing this can be a little intimidating to many. I'm going to direct you to a couple of other resources as we go through the session today. One of the things we like to caution you about is not every job that you see posted is really talking about a current opportunity. Sometimes the postings have been there for months. They just haven't been updated. And if you had an internal contact, they might be able to save you some time because they will give you that information that that position is no longer open. Now, I just believe that lots of research can be absolutely the make or break it for you. Many of you understand how to do research. You've already been building a list of target companies. But if you haven't yet, think about how important it is to have the right resources to do the research and jump into our D&B Hoovers tool to do that research. Now, here's the second half of the checklist. What your research allows you to do is to create correspondence that speaks directly to the employer. Remember, it's not only about what you have done, it's all about what they want. You need to identify their hotspots, their current needs, and speak to your ability to fill those needs. If you want your resume to rise to the top of the electronic pile, you'll need to tweak your resume to fit more precisely to the specific job opening. Look for the keywords in the job posting. Add the missing keywords into your own resume. If you're not quite sure how to do this, we encourage you to step into our 2 webinars on resumes. Now, let's understand the best way to respond to the posting. We're going to review many different sources to find the openings, but no matter where the job lead is posted, apply at the company website whenever possible. Employers prefer to review the candidate pool on their own website before going elsewhere. Now, it's just not true that if you throw enough job applications at the wall, one of them will stick. Taking the time, spending the effort on each and every application is a necessity. It's just something that needs to be done because the competition for publicized openings is typically quite fierce. And on top of that, applying to jobs online can be very time-consuming. Think about it. In today's market, you become known from your online presence. So the profile that you create on LinkedIn can be as valuable as your resume. And you need all your materials to be in sync, your personal branding, your purpose, your passion, all of that needs to be highlighted in the resume and the cover letters, and of course in the LinkedIn profile. Studies have shown that if you have a well-developed LinkedIn profile, you'll have a better chance of getting to the next step. I also like to remind everyone that you need to do the research first in case someone immediately picks up the phone once they see that application and calls you to begin the interview process. They might ask you, why did you apply? What do you know about our company? Why should we hire you? And if you have not done the research on the company before you hit send on that application, you could be caught up in a situation that's not good. Now, finally, I want to encourage you to keep organized. If you did a lot of tweaking to the resume, be sure to save it. Save the cover letter. Perhaps there are a lot of questions on the application. Save your responses. And finally, and most important, save the actual job posting, not just the link. But copy and paste it. How will you save it? You'll copy and paste it, right? Wherever you apply, be sure you have all the details about what was in that posting. And why do we do that? Because it can be 4, 5, 6 weeks before an employer reaches back to you, and you will want to know exactly what was included in that particular posting. So I want to encourage you to think about how can you make this whole process better. We have a webinar called Network Your Way into Target Companies. And this is some really good information about a variety of tools to research companies, to research decision makers. It helps you move a little bit beyond the job boards and discover the hidden job leads that are never advertised. And it will give you a plan for your outreach, both the written and sort of the spoken outreach that you'll do. And so it'll help you stay on top of this particular strategy and make it be more effective for you. But now let's turn our attention to where we find the posted job openings. And of course, this is so important because you want to be very effective with your time management and find the right listings. Now, this is a list that you see here, not all inclusive. But there are top sites listed here. Maybe you have other sites that you're using as well. Let's address the difference between a job search engine and a job board. Simply put, a job board is a website providing an online employment platform. An employer or a recruiter generally posts the necessary skills required for a job on a job board. Now, companies will use multiple job boards because they want to increase their recruitment reach. They want to increase their odds of finding qualified candidates. For you, that makes it tough because you're going to different job boards perhaps, but you're seeing the same listing over and over. Now, there are boards out there that specialize by industry, by location, by career type. And in this slide, you see job boards are outlined in purple. Job search engines, on the other hand, are aggregators. They're collecting job leads from thousands of websites and holding this information so that it's easily searchable for you. Let's talk a little bit about Indeed.com. Indeed.com retrieves somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 new jobs every day from 9,000 different sources on the web. The search engine will visit company websites, online newspapers, major job boards, niche sites, specialty sites, and they're pulling all these leads into a single searchable database. Now, being a public site, of course, it's taking that action to aggregate jobs, but it also allows postings to come directly from employers. So you may find that an employer has posted directly with Indeed, and it wasn't something that was aggregated. What Indeed will do, of course, to make that database easily searchable is it has a lot of criteria set up so that it won't show duplications. So you shouldn't see the same job listed 5 times with Indeed because it's going to select one listing. And what we've also found is that it's going to just stay away from some listings that perhaps have had some complaints about them. So there could be staying away from certain job boards. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes companies are going to post a job and leave it up there for every day of the year. It's just a way for them to do marketing. So that can be a little frustrating for you. But one of the things that we're going to encourage you to do is to set up alerts. All right, meaning you establish a profile on the site, you indicate what your specific search criteria is, and then as new jobs are posted, you're continually informed of these new job leads. So many of the sites will allow you to specify the date of the posting to give you some ideas. Now, these are just a sample of some of the job boards out there. Of course, you know that networking is a great way to hear about particular opportunities. But I also like to mention that even other social media sites are going to be posting jobs. So take a look at Facebook. They have a jobs tab there. You might find jobs posted on Twitter. Let's take a closer look at Google Jobs. Now, Google is also aggregating jobs, but it's really aggregating all of the postings for you. It doesn't pull the listings from Indeed.com, so you probably want to use both. But the idea is that Google Jobs will collect jobs from the latter, ZipRecruiter, Career Builder, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Monster. So it's kind of a good way to kind of see everything in sort of one location. Start on the Google search engine by typing in quotes a job title, a location, and the word jobs. And you'll see that what will appear will be some different results, but you'll see a big blue box there that says jobs. Right away, you can see that there's some criteria that you can use to narrow this down, but I'm going to suggest let's just click on that big box, that big blue box anywhere, and let me show you what you'll find there. Before I move off this slide, I just want to mention the information that we have about the asterisk. Google will see an asterisk and try to replace the word that you think it might need. So try to use an asterisk if you're not quite sure how to construct the search. And be sure to put a space on either side of that. Once we've clicked in that big blue box, you'll see now we have many different ways to kind of select the criteria that we need and to really drill down to the jobs of interest that we have. You can save jobs as you find them. You can either save them on the left when you're looking through the list by clicking on the bookmark, or when you're on the actual job, there's a little bookmark as well where you can save. You can set up job alerts as well. So this is another way for you to use Google. I also just like to mention Google Maps. Now, Google Maps doesn't have published openings, as we're kind of concentrating on today. But, you know, you go to a Google map, put accountants near me, you'll be able to perhaps find some other companies that may be a good way to build a target list and for you to pursue kind of additional searches for them. Let's move on and talk a little bit about Indeed.com. Now, Indeed.com, once again, worthwhile to set up a free account, use this site for your search. You can do a search, of course, without logging in, but we'd like to take advantage of some of the tools that are here to help organize your search. When you go to Indeed.com and you land on that page, you'll see that there's a request to enter what? A job title, a keyword, or a company, and a where. This screen is something you kind of need to just get past. So put something in the what file, hit find jobs, and then the screen that you see on the right will show up. This is where we can start to customize our search right away. So the idea is that you start to see the criteria that become important to you, and you start to create a search that makes it really interesting and valuable for you. Once again, just saying we're going to do a broad search first, but then you know that you'll want to drill down so you're getting to what you need. So you can set up alerts. Once again, just a great time saver for you. And they're prompting you immediately to do that. Be the first to see the new civil engineer jobs in the U.S. The My Recent Searches will be a place that you will see a list of searches that you've conducted in the past. So every time you conduct a search, it will just put something, a title of the search right in there. And if you come back the next day and you want to populate again for the search that you conducted, you can just click on the title for the My Recent Searches. Now, it will be important to track your activity. As we mentioned, you'll want to save jobs, and to find your saved jobs, just go into your account. And so we have that in the screen at the right, and you'll be able to see the Save Job fields. So a couple of things, we see an Apply Now listed right there. When we click that, we might see that the URL is keeping us within Indeed. You know, we'll see that the URL starts with Indeed.com. What we suggest is that you find the name of the company and you go out to the company website first and see if it is possible for you to apply there. So always a couple of steps to do before we hit any Apply Now buttons, right? We need to prepare and do our research. We'd like to share with you some in-depth information about using the myIMPACT job search engine. The myIMPACT job search engine is powered by Indeed, meaning we're using the same database that Indeed has already created. So this is a very powerful way for you to find opportunities. It also is a great way for you to organize your search. Let's talk about that. But first, I'd like to be sure that you understand the navigation. This is the page you see when you land on Job Search tab. On the left, you see a Start Here, and you see Job Search Strategies. Now, we encourage you to listen to the video to get started. Anytime you see something in blue on this screen, we know it links to more information. So if we go to Create a Plan for your job search, we now see Create Your Plan, and over to the right, we see relevant resources, that job search planner we looked at, that checklist that we looked at. And as we scroll down, here is some more information about managing posting responses. So we encourage you to go through all of the content here to thoroughly understand these topics. I'm going to click back into job search and kind of walk through just an illustration of using these search tools. Now, this is the advanced search tools. So this is exactly what you would have seen if you had clicked into Indeed and brought that screen up. If we were a network engineer in Chicago and we were looking for a position, we might use this top field with all of these words. By putting those two words in there, both of those words must appear in either the title or the job description. So we won't just find a job that says network. We won't just find a job that says engineer. Both of the words have to appear. You notice that I did not put a comma. I'm just using a space. If I want an exact phrase, meaning I want my phrase to be network engineer, I would put it in this second field. And that way both words have to appear together, either in the title or in the job description. Now, if we want at least one of these words, we could kind of add some different words in there. So we could put network engineer, we could put systems, right? We could put software. So we could put a list of words there, and we could use different synonyms to kind of cover the variations. And then any one of those words could appear in the job posting, either description or title. So it would help us broaden out the search because we're not quite sure what would be in that description or title. With none of these words can be a really valuable tool or very restricting tool. Let's go on this example and say that you have a lot of certifications, but not Cisco. So you decide to put none of these words, and you're going to type in Cisco, and thinking that that will kind of eliminate any jobs that you're not qualified for. The disadvantage of that is the description of the job might say that they are looking for anyone who has Cisco and other certifications. So the other certifications does qualify you. But if you've eliminated the word Cisco, you might have eliminated that job posting. So if we want to be a little more restrictive, we're going to put network engineer right there in the title. So it will only bring up jobs where that appears in the title. Now we know that companies change titles quite often, and the reality of it is that we may not be a network engineer at every company. At some companies we might be a systems engineer, right? A software engineer. So think about this as being a restricted field, and you might want to just sort of leave it pretty open. I'm going to put engineer in there just for our search. From this company, pretty self-explanatory. If you want to know if a company is part of the database, you could put something in here. You can go through and do all the job types. We're going to encourage you to start off with something very general. Keep all the job types, keep all the websites. You might want to exclude staffing agencies. Probably not the best idea to use the salary field. Not all companies have put any information in there, and you might be eliminating positions. So we absolutely encourage you to do your salary research, understand what the salary perhaps will be for different positions that you're seeking, because you may have on the application a required field that requires you to put a number in there. I think it's pretty simple to see how we would do a location search. We could say within 15 miles, and we mentioned earlier that we're just going to pretend we're in Chicago, so we're going to take that as our search field. Once again, let's look at all the jobs, anything that's been out there. Easily, if you wanted to come in tomorrow, you could look up since yesterday, but we could also set up some alerts here that would then bring us up the newest postings. So we've got find jobs. When we get to the result page, we see that we could sort by relevance, which is probably the best way to go. But then going forward, once we've really secured our search criteria, we might want to sort by date. This is a lot of results. So we may say, you know, let's go back and it has to have the word network in there. Let's see if that changes my search. So this is the way that you're going to work it. You're going to just kind of continue to go through. That brought up 468, so that may be a closer match. We also may want to change the distance, and that brings up 418. So you kind of want to be broad, but you want to get to a number that's easy to work. But here's how to kind of narrow it down quickly. You can go through and immediately decide which jobs based on the information you see are ones worth looking at. So we can go to save jobs. All right. We might want to save that job. We see that we've got some saved jobs here because we worked on this particular search a little earlier. And so I'm going to save a couple of those jobs. Where do I see the jobs that I've saved? I'm going to show you that. But this is a pretty good search. So I'm going to save the search, and I'm going to set the alert for this search. And so I might say that this is my engineer, you know, with network in the search, and I'm going to say it's 10 miles, whatever I want to say, and I can set up to get email alerts on this, and I can set up I don't want notifications, and I'm going to hit save. Now, once I come into my page every day, I can scroll down and I can see my saved searches. Here's engineer with network 10 miles. I could click on that, results immediately show up. Here's the jobs that I saved. All right, so we have different jobs that we've saved along the way. And all we need to do is open up one of those jobs. We could go right to the job posting if we want to. When I do that, I see that this is being posted with Indeed. So once again, may want to find out the company name and go there. But how do we update job details? Why would we update job details? First of all, to track where you are in the process. You have a recruiter's name, a contact name. You have a phone number now. You can enter it here. And you see in this notes section, this is the great place for you to copy and paste the entire contents of the job posting and put it here. So we mentioned earlier, that's going to be a really important way to stay organized, is to have a copy of the entire job posting. Because if I were to simply go to the link may not be there. So I'm going to just hit save on this, and when I go back to job search again, as I scroll down, I'll see here are the jobs that I have pending. Here are the jobs I've applied to. And, you know, you're finished with some of the jobs. It's easy for you just to eliminate them from your list. Okay, so pretty simple to use. If I want to go back to my old search, I can simply click here, and once again, I can change the settings of my alert. I can revise it. I can delete it. If I indeed wanted to read more about that job right away, it's simply a read more. So I think that you'll find working with the job search engine is a very valuable time saver. If you want to determine if the jobs are being posted from a very specific job board, you can use with all these words, right? And that will help us. We could put in dice.com or careerbuilder.com and see if any jobs were posted there. We have some great handouts to help you with the job search engine. You can find these in myIMPACT. One of them is titled About the Job Search Engine. The other one is the Advanced Search Tips, just giving you an outline of how these fields will work. And you can find those in myIMPACT. You can always use the search feature. So we want to thank you for attending our recorded webinar today and wish you good luck.